This is Bryce Van Patten with Metal Express Radio Backstage, and today my guest is guitarist and producer Herman Frank of Accept, Victory, Moondock, and Herman Frank Band. And how are you today, Herman?
I'm fine, thanks for asking. I feel pretty well. It's today we have in Hanover the hottest day of the year, so everything's fine.
Yeah, how warm is it today in Hanover?
38 Celsius. I can't tell in Fahrenheit, but quite hot.
Okay. All right. If somehow someone didn't know of Herman Frank or your band, how would you describe the music to them?
Actually, if somebody doesn't know after 40 years,
I know,
Mr. Herman Frank, I wouldn't describe it. I wouldn't describe to nobody. He should go for YouTube or Wikipedia or anything.
I know they should know, obviously, but
yeah.
Well, let me ask this: how would you say that the Herman Frank project or that band might be different from Victory or some of your other projects?
I think Herman Frank is more metal rock, for sure. Mm-hmm. And if I would describe it with a couple of words, it's straightforward, no left, no right.
Awesome.
It's kind of like classic metal,
right
in between. Accept whatever you want to. I can't. Just the music in my roots, the roots I have, and the music I just have in my guts. So I think it's a lot of guitars, nice guitar riffs, catchy songs, faster songs also. But right. I'm always looking for a good hook line and a nice melody in the verse or something. So I think it's pretty nice to listen for.
Okay. So the new album is out. How is it doing so far?
Cool. I entered the charts at 58 in Germany. So that's, yeah, cool. I was really excited about that, and I appreciate all the buyers. So all over the world, I'm doing a lot of interviews since, a couple of weeks, 6 weeks, I guess, every night, a couple of hours. So people from all over the world asking me about the records, and they quite seem very interested in this one. They like it so far, very good. Some of them, they tell, that's the best metal album of the year, blah, 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 blah. It's a long year anyway.
Yeah, it's only halfway there, right?
Yeah, so let's see what they say in the end. But I keep my fingers crossed. So far, so good. And actually, right now, I couldn't go back. I couldn't think it would go any better. Yeah, very much interested from the world.
Yeah, I reviewed your album and I thought it was great. So
hey, cool.
Super exciting. You have 2 new band members. Can you talk about how Mike and Kevin were brought into the project?
These days, I mean, the carousel, I only know the German word for it, carousel, whatever that means in American slang. It's going faster these days. Some of the musicians, they might need 2 bands, 3 bands at the same time. It's gonna be tougher. You can't make a living out of music, or most people. So some of them go for day job. Andre Higgers joined Bonfire. So we decided before we do have any hassle in scheduling some days. Okay, I'm looking for a new drummer. I found with Kevin Cott, actually was mentioned by Rick, the singer, a very good, nice young guy, pretty good looking too, and he gave the right guts to the songs with his drums, with his style. And Mike, I was quite lucky to find Mike. I know this guy for a couple of years, so he's actually from Hanover, out of my neighborhood. So awesome. That make situations easier and life much easier, because there's a good chance to practice, to go meet in the studio anytime. That's perfect. And he plays very good guitar. Some of the guitars might be better than mine, but hey, it's my band. What's better anyway? I mean, these youngsters, they are so brilliant in techniques. Yeah. These days. It's unbelievable, you know. If you ask him for any schedule or any arpeggio, I do have this one. It goes like He's going totally crazy. And within 20 seconds lead he's doing, he burns his guitar. He uses whatever he plays with tongue. He goes on the knee. He plays on his back. He shows everything. So I have to calm down him just a little bit. And I always say, hey, it's about the song, Mike.
Speaking of songs, can you talk a little bit about what your process is when you write a song? I mean, do you just come up with bits and pieces and try and put them together, or how do you go about it, Herman?
As you said, mostly it's you come up with some piece or pieces or a nice, just catchy riff. I'm always try to look for a catchy riff for the song. So when I practice in the morning on my guitar back home, you're fiddling around, and all of a sudden this might be good, and then you have to work it out. And I recorded very quick on my iPhone. Then when I'm back to my studio, it's in Hanover, a little studio where I put all my songs together. I listen back to the iPhone and say, oh yeah, this might be worth. And then the trouble starts, because you have to find any verse or any chorus. Sometimes you have a chorus, you don't have a riff. Oh, it's horrible. Sometimes it takes a long time.
Right, till you find the perfect part to go with another part that you just know is right?
Yeah. If you're gonna like it, that takes a little bit of time, and you throw away things, and after 2 weeks you start again. It's the same process, like decades.
Awesome. How has working on your album or your musical life been affected by the COVID crisis?
Actually, I canceled about 30 shows in Europe and a couple of festivals, but it is like it is. I mean, I won't complain.
Right.
There's a pandemic, and so you can't do anything about it. And for me, it's actually, in 40 years doing music, there had been, for sure, 1 or 2 years I hadn't been on tour because there was no band, or nobody was ready, or there was no record. So it's not a totally new situation for myself, for me personally. And right. So I try to keep myself busy, and I worked mostly of the year in the studio writing songs. I also finished a new Victory album. I finished kind of like singer-songwriter album with my wife. She's a pretty good singer and a very nice guitar player. And I'm planning, maybe we announce it in 4 or 5 weeks. I'm working on a new project or band with a singer. Was singing in the same band I was in, but we met personally. And I know this guy for 35 years now.
Yeah, can I ask who that is?
No.
Or you keeping? I can ask, right? You don't have to answer. So you're keeping that under wraps.
We promised each other. Let's give it 4 or 5 weeks, because we are talking now to drummer. He might be from America, and the bass player might be from America too. Well-known bands, well-known names. So it's going to be a pretty nice band or project. I'm very excited about that. So as you see, I try to keep myself busy, and pandemic will be over, and then we are back to business again. And maybe there was a good effect. Maybe people enjoy the music a little bit more, the live scene. So they missed it just for a year, for 1.5, and they're complaining and starting crying. Yeah. Oh, we want to go for shows. Yeah, please come to the shows when it's over.
We hope they'll see a nice surge when all that happens. And
I think so.
Yeah, you kind of touched on this already a little bit, but you're also well known as a producer for bands like Saxon, Rose Tattoo, Crown of Creation, for a couple. How does being a producer affect your approach when you're creating a new album for yourself?
Maybe you listen in a different way. I'm producing I wish I would have had a producer for my own stuff, for Herman Frank. If, for example, if I would ever get a chance to work with Andy Sneap or somebody else, It would be nice because you won't be responsible for everything, and you might have a very talented guy next to you who's helping out in any arrangement or whatever it takes. But I asked Andy, and he felt quite honored. And then he said, "Herman, I do like you very much. I know you're a nice guy, and I do know you. If I have a look in my calendar, next possibility might be 23."
Oh my gosh.
And if I will send you my bank account, I think it's end of conversation. I can't afford it. I'm not on this level. You can afford these nice producers. So I said to myself, why shouldn't I do it by myself? And I think it's not that big to produce your own band. You just have to take care and have to listen. And it's not the first record I'm doing, so I felt it quite easy. And with the sound engineer next to me, actually he kind of like co-produced it. He got a nice ear, and I trust this guy. So if he's telling me, Herman, I guess that's not your style. I guess you can do better. I believe him, and he's doing this once in a while. He says, "Nah, you can't leave this on tape. No way." Go.
So it helps to have somebody checking you. So you got to step back a little bit, though, right, from your from your emotions about whatever you wrote.
Sure.
Sometimes
you come up with a strange kind of like, for example, solo or lead, and it sounds very oriental. And you say, "Oh, that's nice. These are nice scales." and Arne said, "Yeah, but nobody wants to listen to this." Easy like that, you know. And for producing, I don't do that much like in the older days. Actually, people can't afford any producer. If you don't have a real nice studio, big studio, so you can't catch any bands to come into your studio, then you might work as a producer. But I mean, with all the budgets in this music scene, nobody actually can afford an engineer and a producer same time.
Yeah, so, that's why a lot of people are doing their self.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel a little bit sad about this. On some records, you recognize, there was nobody who was taking care. And
right.
in the older days, for coming up with good music, always the producer's help is a good thing. He helps you. Or a sound engineer, and it's totally different if you go to a studio with proper people, a proper engineer and a proper producer, instead of sitting back to your living room with small speakers and just program some music by yourself. And wow,
yeah,
music is something you have to do together with people.
Yeah, I agree. So how do you have any difficulty juggling the different projects you're in, like Victory and your solo stuff?
You mean difficulties in between these bands? Music-wise?
Music-wise, are you super busy doing all these, or is it just nice for you to go from one to the other? And
actually, I was going from one to the other. I released Herman Frank, was doing interviews. In the same time, I finished in the studio my last guitars for Victory and a couple of backing vocals and stuff like that. Started mixing, listening to mix during the day, and came back from 1800 to 10 by night. Is it PM in yours? Yeah, it's PM for you. I was doing interviews every day, so that had been a couple of long days. But hey, I do love it. I just do love it.
So I was going to ask you a question. You've been in and out of Accept, and there seems to be a little bit of a trend of bands like Michael Schenker and Halloween where they kind of bring everybody back together into a big band.
Yeah.
Do you see something like this ever happening with Accept?
I think it would be, I don't say the word, just great. I mean, that would be big surprise. Think about if they would go for two singers, Mark Tonello and Udo and Peter and guitar players.
And you.
some of the original guitar players. Why not? Yeah, wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. That might be fun, and there might be a couple of offers from any promoters to play some shows in this in this conception. Hey, maybe it might happen. I think Wolf Hoffmann is a quite good businessman. So
well, it seems to be working for Halloween and Michael Schenker, right?
Oh yeah, big time.
Big time. So that would be really exciting to see something like that.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I mean, maybe Wolf is just happy to have his own band now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the only left original member, so he might be happy in this constellation.
Yeah. I'd like to ask, do you still have a relationship at all with Udo?
Oh yeah, once in a while. I mean. He lives not quite next to me, so I think he's down on any island in the middle sea, and I try to, if he's going on tour, I try to catch a concert and say hello. Yeah, sure.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So when do we get to see the next Victory album?
As I finish the mix and the songs getting right now at the mastering studio, I think I will have them back. Record company. It's a shame. In Europe, you have to deliver your master 5 months before release date.
5 months?
5 months, cause of if you want to have vinyl. There are only 2 factories in Europe left. They're doing vinyl.
Oh, yeah. So there's a big line, isn't there?
Yes, I was quite surprised too. And first it was 2 months, then 3 months, and now they're up to 5 months. So it's gonna be released end of October, beginning of November. And I hate to wait that long time, but there's no other way. But anyway, good news. At least beginning of November, there will be a new Victory album, and we go on tour. And we will go on tour for safety in 22 in January, February.
That was my next question: is when do you guys plan on touring? And do you have any idea who you might want to tour with?
Somebody will tour with us.
I know they will. I was just curious if you had anything that you'd been working on.
I would not. If Def Leppard would ask for any support, I would love to, or if Kiss, But on the other hand, these days it's kind of like not that easy to support somebody. You spend a lot of money, and you just have to have it. And record companies don't have any chance to support you in this way, that you support a really nice big band and go out for 8 weeks. That costs a lot of money, and record company won't support this in this way these days anymore. So I guess Victory is big enough in Europe. So when we go back, we're doing also kind of like 30 or this right now 31 anniversary because we wanted to do it this year. This year would have been 30 anniversary of Tempest of Gold and Culture Native. So we just say 30 plus 1 anniversary. And so I guess there might show up a couple of people. And what I do know is there's already shows for 3-4 weeks booked as a headlining, and so we'll see what's going to happen. Future is wide open, and it's going to be a fantastic album. Wow. Yeah.
Do you have any plans to come to the States next year?
Yeah, plans. We do always have plans. The thing is, there's a sea in between.
Yeah. To the ocean.
Ocean. Oh, is it sea or ocean? How do you call it?
Is there still a 2-week quarantine to travel in and out of Germany?
It's not about all the quarantine things, but as I said, you have to afford it.
Right.
I mean, how many shows you gonna do in the US? 5 or 6?
That's not worth the money, right? You need to.
I would love to, and I would love to come back to the States because I do love the States. The kind of like the way of living there and the countryside over there. I just love it.
I'd love to see you.
The last time I was in US, it was with Accept, and also Accept wasn't doing that really great in America. You know, we did maybe once we did 10 to 20 shows. That's it.
Yeah, I saw Accept, I believe, in 1985. So I think you were there.
Maybe.
Right? Very well, Balls to the Wall tour.
I did a lot of shows with Balls to the Wall.
And I think you guys were touring with Saxon. So
yeah, but that's 3 decades ago.
That's a long time ago. I don't expect you to remember.
Yeah, and I think I might answer as Aussie. I can't remember.
That's okay. I can remember because I was there to see you.
Okay, fine.
So, you know, as much as I love Saxon, I had to come see you guys. So
I would love to tour with Saxon. Hey, that's a pretty fine band.
I love those guys.
Such nice.
They almost keep getting better and better. So it's everything they put out has been fantastic. So
they're doing the real rock and roll thing.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to add or throw out there for people?
I would recommend for the people, if you learn something out of the last year, sit down in front of a real stereo system, put in a copy of CD or vinyl, and sit down and listen for 45 minutes to music, and not just on the iPhone or with earplugs. That's a different thing.
Yeah, I personally am not a fan of streaming, and I think that if you really love a band and support them, you need to own a physical copy, whether it's the CD or the vinyl or whatever. And for one, it sounds better, and for two, it does put some money back in your pocket.
That's for sure.
Whereas I know from I play in small bands, and I get nothing. Even, you know, if you get $12 for streaming, even if you get thousands listens and you get $12 or $14.
If you get back $12, may I join your band?
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? So, no, I think that must have been with a few MP3 sales, I guess. So, because to get it totally off of streaming, I just don't see it. And I you know, streaming services to me, it just takes so much away from the way it used to be.
Yeah, I think it's totally
got a trophy, right? You said, "This is my band. Look what I got."
And just think about if you sit down in front of your stereo and hold a copy in your hand, read the lyrics, reading the credits, and see it's totally different situation, totally different feeling. Thanks God, and I appreciate people are still buying my CDs, so thank you.
Excellent. Well, I really want to thank you for taking the time to talk with me. It's been awesome.
I appreciate taking your time. It was quite nice.
Excellent. Well, that's all I have for you.
Maybe I'll see you in the States.
That would be amazing. That would be fantastic, because I love the Herman Frank, and I'm looking forward to Victory. And someday, who knows what Wolf will do. But it sounds like, you know, you guys are all still good friends. So,
hey, I'm always wishing all the people I know all the best.
Excellent. Well, thanks again, Herman, and have an awesome day. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care, Maya.